Good evening. Welcome to the Tuesday, May 14th Board of Trustees meeting. I'll call the meeting to order at 6 p.m. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Berry?
Here.
Mr. Morris? Here. Mr. Culp?
Here. Mr. Morris, do you have the Operation Inherent Resolve and Freedom Sentinel casualties?
We do. Sergeant Benjamin Hines, Operation Freedom Sentinel, April 8th, 2019, 31 of York, Pennsylvania, assigned to the 25th Marine Regiment, 4th Marine Division. Corporal Robert Hendricks, Operations Freedom Sentinel, April 8th, 2019, 25 of Locust Valley, New York, assigned to the 25th Marine Regiment, 4th Marine Division. Staff Sergeant Christopher Slutman, Operation Freedom Sentinel, April 8th, 2019, 43 of Newark, Delaware, assigned to the 25th Marine Regiment, 4th Marine Division. Staff Sergeant Albert J. Miller, Operation Freedom Sentinel, April 19th, 2019, 24 of Richmond, New Hampshire, assigned to the 736th Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Dover Air Force Base. Specialist Ryan Riley, Operations Freedom Sentinel, April 20, 2019, 22 of Richmond, Kentucky, assigned to the 2nd Battalion, 32nd Field Artillery Regiment, 1st Brigade Combat Team, 101st Airborne Division. Specialist Michael T. Osario, Operation Inherent Resolve, April 23, 2019, 20 of Horseshoe Bend, Idaho, Intelligence Analyst, 3rd Armored Brigade, 4th Infantry Division, Fort Carson, Colorado. Private First Class Michael A. Thompson, Operation Inherent Resolve, April 29, 2019, 28 of Lincoln Park, Michigan, assigned to the 2nd Battalion, 327th Infantry Regiment, 1st Brigade Combat Team, 101st Airborne Division, Fort Campbell, Kentucky.
Captain Stiegelmeyer.
Good evening. The following is the first responder casualties for the period of time from May 5th through May 11th, 2019. Firefighter Cody Van Fossen, 24, Christopher Fire Department, Illinois. End of watch May 5th, 2019. Officer Jordan Sheldon, 32, Mooresville Police Department, North Carolina. End of watch May 4th, 2019. Officer Robert McKeithen, 58, Biloxi Police Department, Mississippi. End of watch May 5th, 2019. Trooper Matthew Gaddy, 24, Tennessee Highway Patrol. End of watch May 6th, 2019. And Sergeant Kelvin Ansaria, 50, Savannah Police Department, Georgia. End of watch May 11th, 2019.
Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. I'll now make a motion we approve the consent agenda.
I will second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Berry?
Aye.
Mr. Morris? Aye. Mr. Culp? Aye.
We'll move right into new business, and I will begin with our department reports. This evening we have a resolution to appoint a township administrator. It's the board's feeling at this point in time. Mr. Rogers' military service has been extended, and we feel it's vital for the township to have some permanent leadership in place, not just for the employees, but also for the township as a whole, so we can continue on with our strategic planning and have some stability at the top of the organization. We're not sure when Mr. Rogers will return. We're hoping on his return sooner than later, but at this point in time, as things continue to grow and evolve and change throughout the township, we feel that we have the right person in place, and we feel now's the time is right to go ahead and name an acting administrator, and we will certainly welcome Mr. Rogers back when he is finished with his service to our country. So with that, I will turn the department reports over to our acting township administrator, Mr. Hattis.
Thank you, Mr. Berry. The first resolution I have tonight is 2420-19, and that is to appoint a chief of police. So with the passing of 2019, my appointment to Township Administrator. The resolution is to appoint Captain Stegemeyer to Chief of Police. As you're aware, when Captain Johnson left in September, we did a process to bring a new captain. That process actually was to replace me. It wasn't just planned this soon, though. So I am very pleased to present this resolution to hire Captain Stegemeyer as our Chief of Police. Also, I have a presentation for proclamation for National Police Week. I'd like to have you present to Captain Stegemeyer.
On behalf of the Board of Miami Township Trustees, May 12th through 16th is National Police Week, and May 15th, tomorrow, is National Peace Officer Memorial Day, and we will present the police department with a proclamation on behalf of the Board of Trustees. Thanks.
That is all I have unless anybody has a question for me. If not, we'll move over to the police. Captain Stegemeyer.
Thanks again. Good evening again, Board. This evening, I have two resolutions to bring before you. It'll be 25-2019. The information should be in your pockets to sell property to a retiring employee. The second resolution will be 26-2019. Is to declare surplus property and authorize the sale of said property. Again, that information will be in your packet. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to entertain those at this time.
I have one question. In the future, I very much appreciate the reports that you give. They're very complete and detailed. But in the list of cases assigned to the detective session, number 11 says other/homicide. I think homicide is important enough to have its own category, and I'm hoping that the number next to it is not reflective of homicide. So if you could pull that out, I'd appreciate it.
Absolutely. Okay, if there's no other questions, the next thing that I have this evening will be presentation of the Officer of the Year, if you don't mind. Sorry, Ferris. 2018, Miami Township Police Department, it's my great privilege to announce that selected Sergeant Jay Ferris as our Employee of the Year. And with that, we're got in our traditional plaque, and what I'd like to do is read the inscription of it. And it starts out with Miami Township Police Department Employee of the Year for 2018. In keeping with the finest tradition of the Miami Township Police Department, Jay Ferris is hereby recognized for conducting yourself in such a manner that exemplifies the leadership qualities incorporated within the mission statement and core values of the Miami Township Police Department. The core values of professionalism, excellence, honor, integrity, dedication, service, and courage are all incumbent on everything you do on a daily basis. Personally, since I've been here, Jay's been a go-to guy for me. I can't say enough how much on a daily basis I rely on Sergeant Ferris to help me out of a jam or to help me find something that I can't find. So it's a great honor and privilege, Jay, to recognize you in 2018. Okay, moving right along. The last thing that I have for this evening, I believe. Yes, the last thing I have for this evening is introduction of our police chaplains. As has been discussed in the past, we have worked very hard at incorporating police chaplains within the police department to help out in situations of need, not just within the police department, but also within the community. It's with great pleasure for me to introduce Sergeant Jason Etter, who leads our chaplain program, to introduce the three chaplains that are representing the Miami Township Police Department. Sergeant Etter.
All right. Good evening. We brought 2 new chaplains on. We've been in the process over the last couple months, screening some people, doing background checks, interviews, et cetera. They're currently up at Opata today and tomorrow, getting some chaplain training up there, and we sent them to some over in Centerville last week. The 2 that we're bringing on today is Patrick Dellaria and Jason Johnston. Patrick is the pastor of Marine Heights Baptist Church. He's been the pastor there for almost 3 years. One of the benefits that we have been trying to look for is churches that are within the community that have good outreach programs, and so we can tie into that resource as we need it, not only for our own officers, but for the community in general. One of the things that they've done in the last year or so is they've started a very growing addiction program that they run on Friday nights up there. With the current opioid crisis and everything we have going in the community, that's a very big asset, I think. In addition to that, Patrick also did some time as a correction officer, so he understands some of what we think on our side too, not just the pastoral side. Patrick's wife is Hannah, and they have 3 children. They're all here with us tonight. And then Jason, it is his birthday today. Happy birthday. In March of 2010, he and a partner started Bog Ministries, which you've probably seen the big food trucks driving around that say Bog on the side and talk about feeding people. BOG stands for Because of God's Grace, which is kind of their motive behind all that. He has been serving there. He's also on staff down at Southbrook, and he has a very passion for community outreach and taking care of people's daily needs as well as their spiritual. So I think both of these will be a great addition to our team, both for us and the community. You guys can take them.
I'd just like to recognize Scott Cronin, who's also here, one of our chaplains. He's very instrumental into a couple critical instances that we had over the last couple of years, and we're very appreciative of him.
And that's all I have, sir.
Any questions for him? If not, Dan Mayberry.
Good evening, Board. I have 2 items for consideration tonight. These are a continuation of last year's CDBG grants, one for parks and one for roads. The road grant is to continue our process of improving the ADA curb ramps at the roadway intersections. And the parks grant for this year is for Cranes Run Park. It would be ADA access from the parking lots to the amenities, the shelters, and the one set of play equipment. Any questions about those 2 grant proposals? I do have the, if you're interested in looking at it in the entire application, I have it downstairs to be signed by the administrator after the resolutions had been passed. So it's on a clipboard down there in entirety. The only other item I have is an update about Cranes Run Road. If you haven't been on there today, about 2/3 of it had been paved. Were not able to complete the roadway today, so they'll be back in the morning to finish Cranes Run out, and then eventually it'll be completely striped and finished at that point. We may have a little bit of berm work to do, but other than that, finally have a resurfaced Cranes Run Road.
Anything for Dan?
Any questions about any other public works items? Thank you.
Chris Snyder.
Good evening, Board. I do not have any formal items myself tonight. Mr. Hinkleman will be addressing a fee schedule change, but if you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to take those at this time.
Mr. Hinkleman.
Thank you. You will see within your packets a resolution to change or adopt a new fee schedule for the Community Development Department. As you are aware, we did change Article 38 a month ago. As part of that change, it created a process within our code for temporary uses and structures. So the fee schedule change really is intended to incorporate those temporary use permits and general use permits into one line, one for commercial and one for residential. There's also a number of minor changes to clarify some wording that we've had issues with in the past, just to make sure people are aware what permit is what price. If you have any questions, I'd be very happy to answer them. Otherwise, you can see the redlined version within your packet and then the new proposed schedule as well, right behind it. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Thank you.
Any questions? Mr. McCord?
Good evening, Board. I have 4 items tonight for your consideration. The first is Resolution 030-2019, which is an agreement for medical insurance, health insurance for the township employees for the next coming year, starting July 1. Through discussions with our current provider, Anthem, we were able to negotiate no changes and no rate increases for the coming year. So this is to authorize the Township Administrator to sign the agreement, and we can start the renewal process later this week, actually. We'll be distributing the packets. You have before you the packets that will be distributed later on, and includes just the coverage and the information of what to do, what all the employees are going to have to do as far as letting us know their selections for the coming year. Again, no increases, no changes to the current coverage that we have. The second item is 031, which is a resolution to begin the process of refinancing or refunding some bonds that were issued back in 2010. And market conditions are such that we can save well over, again, a combined package of over $400,000 at this point with market conditions between the earlier back Resolution 14, which was refunding the 2008 series bonds. As they were going through the paperwork and working through everything with the underwriters, we came across these and started looking at these again and realized that the conditions had changed to make it favorable for us. So this will actually add to that refunding total. And this morning, we discovered there was a paragraph that was missing. So in the resolution part of the draft that went out in your packets, there's a new paragraph in Section 1. The second paragraph in Section 1 will actually clarify that we can combine, that it's clear that we're combining the 28 and the 2010 without and into a single new series for 2019. But we are not, I want to be clear, we're not extending the term of either of those issues. We're simply lowering the interest rates to current market rates. And the next one, 032-2019, is an amendment to the Phase 2 addendum to the project management and finance agreement with the Montgomery County Transportation Improvement District. This specifically has to deal with the Lyons Road pedestrian access project that's underway right now. The township was approached within the last week, I guess, to talk about the opportunity to extend some of the paving to the adjacent roadways. We're still working through some of those numbers with the TID and the vendor, but it does look as though we might be able to save some of the mobilization costs and some of the administrative costs that go into by combining these into a single project. At this point, we've not reached a final decision, as I understand it, but this is strictly to authorize the township administrator to execute those documents if they are substantially in our favor. And then the last one, 033-2019, is, it mentioned earlier, and we had to go back and add a paragraph into the resolution for the 2010 bonds. If you go back to the original legislation for the 2008 bonds, that was Resolution 14, 2019. It did not include this language. So our bond counsel, in an abundance of caution, encouraged me to add this to the agenda today to simply clarify and have both of those reflect similar language. So 33 actually just amends 14, 2019. That was a whole lot covered really quickly, so any questions or clarifications that I can provide, I'd be happy to. Did I leave anything out?
All right. President, turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Hess. I probably should have noticed this while we were doing the police update, but I noticed Officer Rankins is here. And if you would please just come up for a minute and give us an update on how things have been going with the middle school. That's a very important program for us. And I'd say I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I'm putting you on the spot for a minute. So I've heard nothing but great things are happening over there, so I'd like to hear it, what you've been working on. If you hit the microphone for us. And this doesn't mean you don't come in the other meetings, because I won't do this again to you.
Oh, yeah. Things have been pretty good, I have to say. The kids are transitioning to me very well. I think I have to ask for one of those little number machines at my door, because the kids are constantly coming in. I'm constantly taking numbers, but everything's been pretty good. I'm looking to maybe start some programs next year with my middle school in reference to some of the things that I see as a problem, like suicide. Trying to get some of these kids who appear to not have friends in the school, start a program called Say Hello, where if we see a student sent by himself, my group that I've conjured up in the beginning of the year will go and sit with that student, get to know them so they're not sent by themselves. But I know it's baby steps, and I'm constantly being reminded that I've only been there for 5 months, even though it feels like I've been there for 5 years. But everything's moving around smoothly.
Anyone have any questions for Officer Rankins? Well, we appreciate the work that you're doing over there.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll now move into the public comment portion of the meeting. Anyone wishing to make a public comment, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and you have 5 minutes to speak. Anyone wishing to make a public comment?
Hello, I'm Bethany Schumacher, and I don't live in the township, but I have a business in the township, and my business is Konecki Schumacher Chiropractic. The address is 2165 Miamisburg Centerville Road, and I wanted to address the fact that about the relaxation massage. There was a massage parlor right next to our building, and it took 5 years for them to finally get evicted, and that just happened in the middle of April, which I'm very, very grateful for that. And I have given you packages regarding an ordinance to adopt regarding massage therapy and to have it regulated. And in the top sheet here that I gave you, the president of massage therapy, licensed massage therapy, she actually lives in Kettering, and she had done some research on here and said that Ohio is the only state in the nation that has divided the profession into 2 different practices between relaxation massage and medical therapeutic massage. And so the city of Westerville, Ohio, has actually come up with an ordinance for regulating massage therapy, and the House Bill 105 is what they're trying to get passed to have some regulation. And what I'd like you folks to do is take a look at what Westerville has done and to adopt that ordinance, to have it regulated so that we don't have these kind of massage parlors in the townships.
Oh, the one thing, there's a difference between the way city and township governments are run.
I do know that, yes.
So we're governed by once it's in the Ohio Revised Code, then that's automatically enforceable through the township. We don't do ordinances. Those are done under a city charter. So has this bill passed through the House?
No, what you'll have in this packet is you'll have the current law that they're trying to change, and then there's a nonpartisan analysis of the bill. And then lastly, this one up here is what the lobbyists for the licensed massage therapists are trying to put forth. So no, they're still working on it, but so in other words, you don't adopt it, it's just automatic.
Once it's part of the Ohio Revised Code.
Mr.
Then we're
President?
governed by the Ohio Revised Code.
I can speak to that a little bit if you'd like.
Sure.
We are actively reviewing some of the regulations that are applicable to townships. There is a proposed change in the legislature right now, but there is some current legislation that we have been actively reviewing, and we'll be presenting information to the board to discuss our options regarding the regulation of massage establishments, so.
Yeah, it was just an awful neighbor to have for 5 years, and it just brings the township down. So,
Well, thank you very much for the information. We'll make sure we keep close tabs
alrighty,
on it.
thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to make a public comment?
Bob Matthews, 2230 Cross Village Drive. Just a couple of quick ones. I appreciate that you guys are putting in a township administrator permanently. I think we've been handicapped by not having one, so good job. And thank you to Dan for paving Spring Valley.
Thank you, Mr. Matthews. Anyone else wishing to make a public comment? Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Peter Tobin. I'm with U.S. Marshal Service. I had the occasion to work with Charles Stiglmeyer, both at the Powell Police Department and then at the Bureau of Criminal Investigation. You will find no better lawman than Charlie Stiglmeyer. I've been around 45 years with hundreds of officers, and Charles Stiglmeyer is, without a doubt, one of the finest police officers I've ever known. So you've made a very fine pick. He will not let you down. And nice to be here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wishing to make a public comment? We'll close the public comment portion of the meeting and move into the vote on resolutions.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 023-2019, a resolution to appoint a township administrator. Therefore be it resolved, the Board of Trustees authorizes the following: the appointment of Ronald Hess to the position of township administrator, and all prior service time to be credited for purposes of calculating benefits. The starting salary shall be $135,000. The appointed position shall commence on May 14th, 2019.
Second? Any discussion on the resolution?
No, sir.
Mr. Berry?
Aye.
Mr. Morris?
Definitely yes.
Mr. Culp? Aye.
I'll make a motion, we approve resolution number 024-2019, a resolution to appoint a township chief of police. Therefore be it resolved, the Miami Township Board of Trustees appoints Charles R. Stiglmeyer to the position of police chief.
I will second.
Any discussion on the resolution?
Mr. Berry?
Aye.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Mr. Culp?
Aye. I will make a motion to approve Resolution 025-2019, a resolution to sell property to a retiring employee. Therefore be it resolved, the Miami Township Board of Trustees authorizes the sale of a Glock service weapon with serial number BEY-C775 to Chief Ronald Hess for the amount of $100, and the sale is effective immediately.
Second? Any discussion on the resolution?
Mr. Berry?
Aye.
Mr. Morris?
Aye.
Mr. Culp? Aye.
I'll make a motion, we approve resolution number 026-2019, a resolution to declare surplus property and authorize the sale of said property. Therefore be it resolved, in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code Section 505.10, the Miami Township Board of Trustees declares the attached items list as Exhibits A and B as surplus property to be disposed or sold and removed from the respective department's inventory.
I will second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Berry?
Aye.
Mr. Morris?
Aye.
Mr. Culp? Aye.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 027-2019, a resolution to authorize the submittal of a Community Development Block Grant Program application for township roads and to authorize the acting township administrator to accept a program award. Therefore be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Miami Township, Montgomery, and Ohio, that Section 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Second? Any discussion?
No, sir.
Mr. Berry?
Aye.
Mr. Morris?
Aye.
Mr. Culp? Aye.
Make a motion, we approve resolution number 028-2019, a resolution authorizes submittal of a Community Development Block Grant Program application for township parks and to authorize the acting township administrator to accept a program award. Therefore be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Miami Township, Montgomery County, Ohio, that sections 1, 2, 3, and 4.
I will second.
Any discussion?
No, sir.
Mr. Berry?
Aye.
Mr. Morris?
Aye.
Mr. Culp? Aye.
I will make a motion to approve Resolution 029-2019, a resolution to adopt a fee schedule for community development. Therefore be it resolved, the Miami Township Board of Trustees adopts the attached fee schedule for the Community Development Department effective immediately.
Second. Any discussion?
No, sir.
Mr. Berry?
Aye.
Mr. Morris?
Aye.
Mr. Culp?
Aye.
Make the motion we approve resolution number 030-2019, a resolution to enter into contract for health insurance. Therefore be it resolved, the Miami Township Board of Trustees accepts the recommendations. And lastly, be it resolved, the Miami Township Board of Trustees authorizes the acting township administrator to enter into a contract with Anthem to institute the above insurance plan for the July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2020 plan.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
No, sir.
Mr. Berry?
Aye.
Mr. Morris?
Aye.
Mr. Culp?
Aye.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 031-2019, a resolution to authorize Miami Township, Montgomery County, Ohio, to issue bonds in the amount of not to exceed $5,600,000 for the purpose of refunding its Miami Township, Montgomery County Various Purpose Limited Tax General Obligation, Build America bonds, taxable Series 2010B, including $7,750,000 Recovery Zone Economic Development bonds dated April 29, 2010, and issued in the original principal amount of $8,550,000 to approve a preliminary official statement, to authorize the preparation, use, and execution of an official statement, and to approve and authorize the execution and delivery of a certificate of fiscal officer, a bond purchase agreement, a continuing disclosure certificate, a bond registrar agreement, if necessary, as escrow deposit agreement, and other related matters in connection therewith. Therefore be it resolved by the Miami Township Trustees by the Board of Township Trustees of Miami Township, Montgomery, Ohio, Sections 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and finally, Section 24.
Second. Any discussion?
Mr. Berry?
Aye.
Mr. Morris?
Aye.
Mr. Culp?
Aye.
Riveting stuff, isn't it? Couple more, we're about done. I make the motion we approve resolution number 032-2019, a resolution to authorize the execution and delivery of an amendment to the Phase 2 addendum to the 2016 Project Management and Financing Agreement between Miami Township and Montgomery County Transportation Improvement District in connection with the development and joint financing of transportation projects within Miami Township. Therefore be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Miami Township, Sections 1 through 4.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Berry?
Aye.
Mr. Morris?
Aye.
Mr. Culp?
Aye.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 033-2019, a resolution to amend the Resolution 014-2019 and approve other related matters in connection therewith. Therefore be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Miami Township, Montgomery County, Ohio, Sections 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Second. Any discussion?
No, sir.
Mr. Berry?
Aye.
Mr. Morris?
Aye.
Mr. Culp?
Aye.
Now for the fun stuff. Mr. Neal, would you administer the oath of office?
I absolutely will.
I thought they were all here about the resolution.
It is on. So, left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand, and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Charles Stigmar,
Do hereby swear
do hereby swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Ohio,
and the resolutions of Miami Township, Montgomery County, Ohio.
and the resolutions of Miami Township, Montgomery County, Ohio.
And that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
That I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
discharge the duties of my position
discharge the duties of my position
as Chief of Police of Miami Township.
as Chief of Police for Miami Township.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Well, the first time I went through this, y'all, I didn't get a chance to speak. Well, first. Shocking, isn't it?
I had nothing to do with this.
This goes under pins. You push the button, you get a nice little shot of electricity through your body. Those are uncomfortable. I've been doing this to everybody in the office all week, so they got me back finally. All right, I deserve that. The first time I was short and sweet. I will try to hurry this up because we do have food that's waiting for us downstairs. And so I would certainly hope everybody would join us after this. We have some more celebrating to do for outgoing Chief Hess. First of all, I'd like to thank the Miami Township Board of Trustees and Administrator Hess for your trust and your faith in my ability to lead the police department. Chief Hess has done a tremendous job revolutionizing this agency. And I can't set the bar so high, I have some pretty big shoes to fill. But I'll try to do my best to make you proud, Chief. I'd like to thank all my friends and colleagues who come here this evening to show their support as we begin my new journey as the Chief of Police. You know, it's humbling. I look through here and I see decades of people I've worked with. The contingency from the SO, Captain Brennan, Captain Stevens, Chief Deputy Sir Darrell Wilson. Thank you for coming. We've worked together for a bunch of years. And it's really imperative to come back together, so thank you. Chief Bronson, thank you for being Chief Herzog from Westchester. You and I go way back in the day. I'm not even good on that one. Those statute of limitations are not over yet. I look around the room, I've got my TCSU family. Thank you, Holly. I see Sam. You guys mean more to me as well. Pete Tobin. I did not pay him to give you that introduction at the trustee meeting. Thank you, Pete. Pete and I go back to the days when we worked in Columbus, so it's been 30-some years. It's been a good journey. Pete, you've been a good mentor. My leadership style I honored after you and I modeled after you. So thank you for letting me become the leader and guiding me along this path that I have in my career. So thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I'd like to thank my wife Tracy and my family. You guys have been awesome. For your support and love. Again, I can never pay you. Thank you for all that you've done. To the sworn officers, the civilian staff, and everybody else at Miami Township, I can't say enough what a family you have made me feel like I've stepped into. Since day one I walked in here, everybody's been helping me along, making me feel like I've been here for years. So with that, I want to say thank you, and I promise you that I'll work just as hard to make this agency to go to the next level and make it be one of the police agencies in the state of Ohio. Finally, it'd be remiss behind me, my colleague John Briel. Cap, 7 months ago, I stepped in here and you took me under your wing. I want to thank you for all your support and guidance. I couldn't have done this without you. So with that, kudos. So the rest of the officers, I'm going to set the bar high. I'm going to have high expectations. I like to lead by example, and I expect nothing but excellence. And I'm sure with this agency that you'll all give me that. That's all I have to say. I'm out of words. So all I can say is thank you so much. Thank you everybody for coming, and don't forget your students downstairs and work to this.
Chief, I actually do need you to sign that document.
Mr. Newell.
I have nothing.
Mr. Morris.
Just in response to Dr. Schumacher's thoughts on this therapy bill, as was pointed out, we don't have the ability to pass this law, but one of the things we can do is study what you've given us, and then to work with our Ohio Township administration, to work with the statewide legislatures, if we believe that this needs to happen, then we will do what we can to advise the administration to move it forward. With regards to the actions we took here today in the appointment of a new police chief and the appointment of a new full-time administrator, I'm very excited for what's going to be happening in Miami Township moving forward. We've been able to accomplish quite a bit in the last couple of years. In the absence of having a full-time administrator, I am extremely excited about what we're going to be able to accomplish with with Chief Stegemeyer and our new Township Administrator, Ron Hess. When we thought and discussed this, taking action, we thought if Greg Rogers is not to return, what would we look for in a new leader? And first of all, you need somebody who has the ability to lead, and Ron Hess has demonstrated that in every position he's had, and especially here leading our police department. We want somebody who has the respect of the department heads, and Ron has demonstrated that he has had that in working with Public Works and the Community Development Department and everybody here in the township. And lastly, you have to have a real working knowledge of our community and what the residents expect. And Ron hit the mark on all three of those, and I'm very excited to be working with him in the future.
Mr. Cole?
I'd like to extend my congratulations to our new administrator and to the new chief of police.
I'd like to thank the residents for passing the police levy in this past election. That's going to help not only the residents of Miami Township and the businesses of Miami Township, but it's going to help Chief Stegemeyer and the rest of our officers have the tools they need to be able to keep this community safe. And I really appreciate the work of Chief Hess. He brought that department to where it is today, and as Chief Stegemeyer said, the bar has been set high. But he's walking into a great situation with great employees and a great command staff and one of the best sets of officers that you will find in the country. And all that is attributed to the work that Chief Hess did to build that department up to where it is. And to Chief Hess, the bar's been set high for the administrator. He's walking into a very good situation with great department heads. Things are running extremely smooth. We have great growth within the township, and we're definitely on the right trajectory at this point. And so I'm looking forward to him executing the plan that the board sets out for him in this period of time, and to see just how Miami Township is going to continue to grow. So with that, we have no executive session or work session. I'll make a motion that we adjourn at 6:43.